Eyza Qasrina.
Hi, I'm Amirah Nasihah.
Hi, I'm Nurshafina.
Hi, I'm Nursabrina Nabila. Explanation for group structure before restructuring and after restructuring. We have to understand that before restructuring, Newcastle Berhad have acquired 100% of shares in Golden Sand Berhad. Therefore, there will be zero NCI since 100% of shares is acquired by the holding. In the meantime, Newcastle Berhad and Golden Sand Berhad have acquired 10% and 70% of shares in WSB. Therefore, the NCI will be 20%. So, in preparing the consolidated statement, the NCB will have indirect interest and direct interest in WSB. After group restructure, the NCB dispose its direct interest in WSB. So there will be only left indirect interest in WSB through the GSB of 70%. Hence, there will be increase in NCI from 20% to 30%. Effect of acquisition in GSB and WSB resulted to the goodwill. In GSB, the consideration transfer is 35 million and there will be zero NCI since 100% of shares is acquired by the holding, which is the NCB. And the fair value of net asset is equal to 33.5 million, which is the holding is paid more than fair value of net asset amounted to 1.5 million. While in WSB, the consideration transfer is 25 million and the NCI is amounted to 6 million. The fair value of net asset is equal to 26.05 million. Therefore, there will be goodwill amounted to 3.95 million. To be noted that the goodwill amount will be transferred to the consideration statement of financial position and the schedule. Next is the effect of shares disposal in WSB. So how did we conclude that? First, the proceeds received is 4.5 million. The fair value of net asset on disposal date is 2.635 million. Therefore, the proceeds received is more than the fair value of net asset on disposal date. It will lead to the gain on disposal, which is 1.865 million. The amount of gain in disposal have to transfer to consideration statement of changes in equity, and there will be also increase in NCI amounted 23.715 million. Next, the FAR610 Berhad is a simple investment of NCB with interest of 20%. In order from the acquisition, it was resulted to the bargain purchase. So how it resulted to the bargain purchase? First, the consideration transfer is 4.5 million and the fair value of net asset on the date of acquisition is 5.36 million. Therefore, the fair value of net asset on acquisition date is greater than the consideration transfer, lead to the bargain purchase, which is 0.86 million. Don't forget to transfer 0.86 million into consideration statement of profit or loss since it happened during the current year 31st December 2018.
Okay. In calculation of schedule, post OR for each company. For NCB, there is no adjustment, so the post OR is 1 million. For GSB, the balance PD is 1 million and will be deducted with pre-OR amounted to 0.5 million. So the total amount is 0.5 million. For WSB, we will use the same method as above and we will get 0 for post OR for WSB. Next, we will calculate retained profit holding as the same way how to find post OR, but there will be some adjustment for NCB. Balance BD is 7 million and will be deducted with URP investment of 0.026 million plus with PSC of dividend receivable 1.35 million. Then training cost of the staff, which is 0.2 million, also will be added back. So the final amount for RP NCB is 8.444 million. Okay. For RPGSB, balance BD is 9.124 million, pre-RP is 6 million, URP motor vehicle is 0.12 million, rental income is same amount with URP motor vehicle, plus OPOT motor vehicle 0.012 million, plus with dividend receivable 0.175 million, and then we will get 3.187 million. For WSP, the balance PD start with 1.75 million, minus with pre-RP 1.8 million, and there is OPER of machine of 0.1 million. Rental expenses is 0.12 million, and we will get post-RP of 0.17 million. So we are already calculated the post for OR, and don't forget to apportion each of the amount into NCI and group profit or other reserve column.
This is consolidated of profit or loss and other comprehensive income of NCB Group for the year ended 31st December 2018. For the revenue, RM 1.05 million and RM 0.525 million is an intra-sales, so we need to deduct from the revenue. Then, RM 0.5 million is a transaction from the Grand Bali. All of these three amounts will be adjusted in the cost of sales, but there is one extra adjustment, RM 0.026 million, which is unrealized profit of goods. Then we will get the gross profit amounted to RM 13.704 million. For the administrative expenses, RM 0.12 million is sales of motor vehicle, while RM 0.2 million is a training cost. Both need to be deducted. No adjustment in the selling and distribution, so we just state the figure. For the rental income, the intercompany transaction of RM 0.12 million need to be eliminated, same those of disposal of motor vehicle. There is a share profit in associate amounted to RM 0.4 million. There is over depreciation from revaluation of machine and sale of motor vehicle amounted to RM 0.1 million and RM 0.012 million respectively. There is no adjustment for finance cost, and here bargain purchase of associate from the working above. Then we will get profit before tax amounting 7.856 million after add and subtract the remaining adjustment. For the taxation, just state the figure from the question and total out the amount. Lastly, profit after tax is amounted to RM 6.756 million. Profit after tax will be attributable to parent and NCI. The calculation of NCI will be shown in the working one. So the total of NCI will get RM 0.274667 million. The balancing figure from PAT is attributable to the parent.
Okay. This is statement of changes in equity of NCB Group Berhad. We have three columns which are group return profit, no controlling interest and other reserve. The first item is balance BD. For this balance BD, we need to calculate into working 2 and 3. So let's take a look to the working. Working 2 consists of return profit BD and adjustment of parent and subsidiary from last year. We just take the amount of 6.5 million into parent into GRP column, since there are no adjustment from the last year and it is holding of the group. Next, for return profit GSB, the return profit BD is 8 million and will deduct with the pre-return profit amounting to 6 million. So we will get 2 million and will be apportionate to holding and NCI. But since NCB acquired 100% of the GSB, the total 2 million will be transferred to GRP column. Then, for the NCI column, the sum up of NCI in the schedule will be transferred here, and do not forget that the holding does not acquire any shares in PSA. So, the PSA will be transferred to NCI and we will get balance of GRP and NCI amounting 8.5 million and 3 million respectively. So, next, acquisition during the year where NCB and GSB acquired WSB. So, the portion of NCI is 11 million will be added. Then we will take the profit for the year, PAT attributable to parent and NCI in Sopel. Next, there is a gain in changes in share of subsidiary because of the disposal of share in WSB amounted 1.865 million is added under GRP column. Because of the disposal, there will be an increase in NCI amounting 2.635 million under NCI. Dividend paid of NCB will be deducted from GRP column amounting 0.5 million. Both PSC and OSC dividend paid by GSB and WSB also need to be deducted in NCI column since they are subsidiary. There are also items that need to be transferred from GRP to group other reserve amounting 1.5 million. The balance at 31st December 2018 for GRP is 14.8463 million, NCI is 16.434667 million, and GOR is 1.5 billion. That's all.
Statement of financial position. Adjustment in PPE, 0.12 million is sale of motor vehicle plus with opport of motor vehicle, 0.012 million minus deficit of machine, 1 million and add opport of machine, 0.1 million. We already calculate the share of profit in associates, so put in the softie. Goodwill also have been calculated in the schedule, so bring the total of goodwill into softie. In inventories, we need to deduct 0.026 million which URP of MV and then minus 0.5 million which is derived from sold of goods to the Grand Bali. Trade receivable, WSP not paid for the good bought to GSB amounting to 0.525 million and there is also 0.5 million transaction of Grand Bali. In other receivable, there is no adjustment while bank need to add 0.2 million from training cost. Total asset is 12.6731 million for equity. Other OS is 50 million while PS is 5 million. For GRP, NCB and GOR, this amount will be taken from schedule or SOCI that we have calculated just now. For the long-term borrowing, there is no adjustment. For the trade payable, we need to minus 0.525 million for the unpaid amount from WSP. Dividend payable, we need to deduct 1.35 million and 0.17 million. Other payable have no adjustment. So total of equity and liability is 12.6731 million which is balanced with total asset amount above.
There are two situations where control is achieved even though the parent company acquire less than 50% ordinary shares in the subsidiary. First situation, where the power over more than 50% of the voting rights by virtue of agreement with other investors. A contractual arrangement between an investor and other vote holders can give the investors the right to exercise voting rights sufficient to give it power without the contractual arrangement. However, a contractual arrangement might ensure that the investor can direct enough other vote holders on how to vote to enable the investor to make decisions about the relevant activities. Second situation, where the potential voting rights exist. An entity may own shares, options, warrants or other similar instruments that can be converted into ordinary shares of another entity. These instruments give rise to potential voting rights if they are exercised or converted, which may give the investor an increase in voting powers or reduce the voting power of other investors in the common investing. The existence and effect of potential voting shares should be considered when assessing whether an entity has control over another entity.
There are two situations where control is not established even though the investor acquired more than 50% ordinary shares of the investee. First situation is for an investor that holds more than half of the voting rights of an investee. To have power over an investee, the investor's voting right must be substantive and the investor must be provided with the current ability to direct the relevant activities, which often will be through determining operating and financing policies. If another entity has existing rights that provide that entity with the right to direct the relevant activities, and that entity is not an agent of the investor does not have power over the investee. Second situation, an investor does not have power over an investee even though the investor holds the majority of the voting rights in the investee when those voting rights are not substantive. For example, an investor that has more than half of the voting rights if an investee cannot have power if the relevant activities are subject to direction by a government, court, administrator, receiver, liquidator or regulator.
The difference between control and joint control. For definition, control exists when an entity acquires control over another entity. The acquirer is called as a parent entity and the acquiree is called as subsidiary. Together they form a group, although both entities remain separate physically and legally. For joint control exists when the parties contractually agree to share control and decision about the relevant activities, and the joint arrangement have the unanimous consent of all the parties sharing control. For the control, the investor controls the investee only if it has all the following. First, power over the investee. Second, exposure or right to variable return from its involvement with the investee. Third, the ability to use its power over the investee to affect the amount of investor's return. A majority shareholder is a person or entity that owns and controls more than 50% of a company's outstanding shares. For control, in joint control, there are no single party control the arrangement on its own, but a party to joint control can prevent another parties from controlling the arrangement. There could be a parties that do not have joint control. For example, 4 parties have an interest in a joint arrangement. 3 of the parties have joint control while the another one is not. That one party has no control over the joint agreement but known as a party that participate in. For example, the holding entity holds more than 50% of the equity shares of subsidiary 1, subsidiary 2, and subsidiary 3. Therefore, H, subsidiary 1, subsidiary 2, and subsidiary 3 is a form of a group with H as a holding entity while the others as a subsidiary. The second example is the holding entity holds 100 of the equity shares in S and S owns 90% of the equity shares in SS. Therefore, H is the ultimate parent while S is subsidiary and SS is subsidiary. For example, for joint control, A, B, and C own 40%, 30%, and 30% respectively in an arrangement. The contractual agreement between the 3 is that at least 80% voting rights are required to make decision. Therefore, all 3 have a joint control as all 3 have to agree on a decision. The second example is A, B, and C own 60%, 30%, and 10% respectively in an agreement. The contractual agreement between the 3 is that at least 80% voting rights are required to make a decision. So, A and B have joint control while C has no joint control.
Who joint control in the investing company for case 1, it can be either Gucil Berhad with Jeli Berhad, Gucil Berhad with Tumpat Berhad. However, none of them have joint control because the decision does not have been specified yet. For the case 2, Wakaf Baru Berhad, Melur Berhad and Cabang 3 Berhad, all of these 3 companies have joint control because they are agree in all of the decisions.
Hi, I have a question. What happened to GSB if NCB disposed 75% of its shares in GSB?
Okay, if NCB disposed 75% of its share in GSB, the remaining share will become 35%. So, GSB will no longer become a subsidiary but an associate.
What is the accounting treatment if there is impairment of goodwill for JSB? So, what's the answer, friends?
Okay, so the answer is, since the NCI is valued using full goodwill method, so the impairment of goodwill of GSB will be apportioned according to percent to parent and percent to NCI of GSB.